Casey, how's it going?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Is this your first time on live?
Yeah, first Instagram live.
Awesome. I'm glad I have the honor. And super sorry about the last time my Skype wasn't working and like it didn't let me see any notifications. So sorry about that.
No, that's fine.
So first question I had for you is how's your 2021 going so far?
Yeah, I can't complain. I guess I'm having a better 2021 than most, so I'm preparing for my first UFC fight. So yeah, no complaints.
hmm And were you stuck in Mexico last week, or like what's the story behind that?
So I didn't have a visa sorted for the US when I first got here. And we were trying to figure out where to send me during the pandemic to fix that. So they sent me to Mexico, to Tijuana. So there's better places to be stuck, but it wasn't too bad.
Like, did you know any Spanish going into there, or like were you like what was
None,
that like?
none. Everyone kept speaking to me in Spanish at the embassy, and I was sort of like, I don't know what's going on.
Gotcha. And do you have like a streaming setup in the background? Like, are you on Twitch or what?
No, well, this isn't mine, but it is
Oh, gotcha,
set up. But yeah, no, I'm not at home.
gotcha. So you're gonna make your UFC debut finally on February 20th. Very stacked card against Shawna Dobson. How's fight camp going into that fight?
It's been good. It's been a long camp, I've known about this fight since October. So, yeah, we've been training for a long time for this fight. So I'm definitely more than prepared. I've been training at Extreme and 10th Planet, so it's been fun.
hmm And were you supposed to make your UFC debut at UFC 254 or like it was against Lauren Murphy, right?
Yeah, so I got a short notice replacement to go and fight Lauren Murphy, and everything was like geared up against going against her. And then I tested positive for COVID the day I was meant to leave, so ended up not getting that fight, which was unfortunate. But it's okay because we go camp to get ready for our UFC debut instead, which is much better.
For sure. Did you watch Lauren Murphy's fights at UFC 254 and like were you impressed with her performance or like how did you view that fight?
Yeah, I saw the fight. I wasn't too impressed. Like, I know she's very strong. I could tell that from the fight, and she's very tough. But
hmm
as far as like overall skill goes, it wasn't like that impressive in my opinion. She fought someone coming on a week's notice who I've actually trained with before, Lilia. I trained with her at Tiger Muay
hmm
Thai, and yeah, I thought that she lost the first round, and then won the second round once Lilia started to gas. But I would really be interested in getting that fight in the future against Lauren.
hmm And like the flyweight title picture is kind of weird right now. You have Jessica Andrade, Joanne Calderwood, Lauren Murphy. Like, who do you think should get the next title shot?
I think that Jessica Andrade is probably going to be the one who gets it, just because she came into the division, had an exciting finish, and flyweight. Other flyweights aren't really getting finishes; they're sort of more decisions. So yeah, I'd like to see Jessica Andrade get it. If not, probably Joanne Calderwood after that win on the weekend.
I agree. And looking at your next opponent, UFC debut finally, it's here. Shawna Dobson, she's coming off, I think, the biggest upset of 2020. Did you watch her last fight and like what did you think about her performance?
Yeah, I think she's another one who's just like really tough and like more toughness than skill in my opinion. But her last fight she fought Maria, uh lost the first round as well and then won the second round when she gassed, so it was very similar. Um but yeah, I didn't take too much from that fight. You can't really tell too much when someone wins via someone else gassing. So yeah, I think she's going to be a tough fight. She's going to bring the fight for sure, but I just see myself having way more paths to victory than she does.
hmm And I'm looking at your record too. I believe you're 5-0, undefeated, and I think it's only been around 2 years since your MMA debut, and 2 years later, and you're up on the big stage. like were you surprised to be coming into UFC like so early in your career, or like did you see yourself maybe fighting in the next few years?
So I had quite a few amateur fights in Australia as well. So I have been around for a long time, and I've been training for longer than I've been fighting also. With Australia and New Zealand, there's not so many girls who fight, so it was really hard to find opponents.
Hmm.
So if I could have had more fights, I would have, but unfortunately, we could just take what we could get at that time. So yeah, I fought every opportunity that I could, and now getting signed to the UFC, I'm hoping to get at least 3 or 4 fights per year.
Awesome. Yeah. With 3 or 4 fights, you're gonna look like Kevin Holland, with the fights like that. So I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I'm excited to get active, you know. I That's something I've always wanted to do in my career, but struggled to obviously find opponents or find fights living out of Australia and then Thailand, not two of like the most well-known MMA countries in the world. So yeah, now that I'm in the States and in the UFC, I'm hoping that they keep calling me.
Hmm. And I believe this next fight's at the UFC Apex. Are you kind of disappointed that it's not on Fight Island, or like which venue do you prefer to fight at?
I'm happy that it's at the Apex. You know, I spend every day at the Apex anyway, so it sort of takes some of the nerves out of the UFC debut, in my opinion. I get to sort of fight in my back garden. And then I also don't need to do the 16-hour plane ride to fight. I've been to Fight Island and it sucks doing that flight, and also fighting in the morning at like 2 a.m. also sucks. So yeah, I'm excited to be fighting here and be able to go home to my own bed afterwards.
Awesome. And I think Emil Meek is telling you
Yeah.
to go eat a donut with that. How's your weight cut going?
Yeah, it's not bad. You know, I haven't had a donut in a while, so I would love one, but yeah, not long now.
Gotcha. And I'm guessing this isn't your first time in Vegas, right? You've been at the Apex before?
It actually is my first time like in Vegas. I came for my 21st birthday for like a week,
Oh
uh
yeah.
years back, but this is my first like official time being here. Um, so yeah.
Awesome. Is there like any special places that you like to go sightseeing in Las Vegas, or like you have any plans for after the fight?
I mean, after the fight, I'll definitely do some sightseeing. I haven't really done any since being here. I sort of go to the gym and go home. I'm a bit of a homebody and I like to go to sleep real early in camp. So I haven't seen too much. But yeah, if anyone has any ideas of where I can go, let me know.
What's your favorite place to go back home? What is there like a favorite restaurant, favorite like place to go for fun? Like what's some of your favorite places to go back home?
I'm pretty boring. I like to go to the movies, go bowling, do something like that, go to the beach. I lived in Thailand for like a long time, so going to the beach was pretty much every weekend. Yeah, I don't know. I'm boring.
So like I've seen like a lot of different fighters, with different hobbies. Like I'm not sure if you know Gregor Gillespie. He says that he's a best fisherman in mixed martial arts. Sam Alvey has the best smile in mixed martial arts. Like what do you think you have? What stands out for you? Like is there like a certain hobby that you think that you're better than everybody else at? Like do you have something like that?
No, I don't really have hobbies other than fighting. I guess I put all my eggs in that basket, so I'm just trying to be the best fighter in mixed martial arts.
Awesome. And speaking of fighting, do you have a Mystic Mac prediction for how this fight goes?
Yeah, I think that I finish her in the second round, either TKO or submission. I think that the first round is going to be very high paced and a little bit back and forth, and then I'll find my footing and finish her in the second.
Awesome. Awesome. Great to hear. We had some really great fights last weekend, at UFC 257. What did you think about the co-main event and the main event?
That was crazy. I actually picked both of them wrong. So I had
Uh,
Hooker winning and Connor winning. So yeah, it just proves that anything can happen. That was a really good debut for Michael Chandler. I like the way that he kept like adjusting that finish. He missed a couple of times and then finally hit with it, and then Dustin just looked great. Had a perfect game plan coming in.
Hmm. And speaking like of the February 20th card, it has a lot of talent on there. It's a very stacked card. What's something that you're looking to do, like to maybe get the spotlight on you better than everybody else?
Well, I think that getting a finish will obviously help get the spotlight onto me, but yeah, that's all that I can really control, is the fight that I bring. And I know that every time I fight, my fights are exciting, and I'm high paced and high volume. So yeah, I think that people will be surprised by what they see when I'm in there.
Hmm. What do you think of the flyweight division currently? Like, I know Valentina is kind of like a reigning, dominating champ. She's beating everybody. But what do you think of the division as a whole? Like, do you like see it as weak, or like do you think, or like, what are your thoughts that you would like to share on the flyweight division?
It's still like a very new division, so yeah, I wouldn't say that it's weak, but it's not like deep per se. I think that it's still like sort of figuring itself out, just the way the strawweight division did a couple years back when it first came in. So yeah, I think that it's easy to make waves in this division, in my opinion, because it is so new and nobody's really stuck out and made a name for themselves other than Valentina. So I mean, I'm going to try and do that for myself coming on the weekend. So, yeah, I think that there's a quick path to the top as well, depending on, how you fight and finishes. And I think that's my style. So I think that it's going to work out well for me.
Hmm. And let's say you stop Shawna Dobson in 2 rounds. How many fights? Like, the division's kind of shallow. But how many fights do you think you might be away from a potential title shot?
I mean, I imagine that it takes you at least 4 or 5 to sort of start getting my name out there. So hopefully by the end of the year, I myself a contender and fight for the title maybe mid next year or end of next year. That's the plan that I have in my head.
Awesome. And speaking of like another UFC newcomer, like with Israel Adesanya and his like a reign, I believe he conquered the UFC middleweight championship in 2 years. What can you say about his success, and does it inspire you to go on the same path?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome seeing people from sort of like your own place do well. All the boys from New Zealand, from City Kickboxing, and all the Australians in the UFC really like make you inspired to do the same. So yeah, Israel did it real fast, but he also got into the UFC super late, like in his
Hmm.
career. Had quite a few fights. I've only had 5, so uh, yeah, I'm looking. It might take me a little bit longer, but looking to grow pretty quickly in the UFC as well.
Hmm. What are some inspirations that you had, like while still like a newborn in mixed martial arts? Like, what are some inspirations that you looked up to, like on the way up?
So I first started because my dad was a fighter, so that was sort of my main inspiration, was sort of following in my dad's footsteps. And then he also runs a MMA promotion in Australia that I used to work at when I was a kid, doing the tickets on the door and everything like that. So I've been around it my whole life. I think that most inspiration comes from my dad. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm always inspired watching good fights though, so every weekend I guess I get a little bit more inspired to do it, especially after the Max Holloway fight against Calvin Cade. That sort of lit another fire under me as well. So
Gotcha. And was your dad a fighter and a promoter, or just a fighter?
he's a fighter and a promoter. Well, he was a fighter. He doesn't fight anymore, but both.
Is that something that you look to pursue, or like, is that something that you want to follow in his footsteps, like make a promotion maybe after after you retired? Like, are you looking to make a promotion maybe?
No, I don't think I want to do that. I've seen how much it takes. I've watched my dad do it, so I know that it's a super tough gig. I think my sister's more interested in doing that, and she'll probably take over from him. After fighting, I see myself probably opening up a gym or coaching or something like that, or always wanted to have a donut shop as well. So something other than fighting, yeah.
What would you name your dream donut shop?
I don't know. Haven't thought of a name, but that's a good idea. Should think of a name.
And last question, I think this is the most important question I've ever asked. What's your favorite flavor of donuts?
Anything caramel or Nutella filled. I hate chocolate donuts, but if it's filled with Nutella, it's pretty good. Otherwise, yeah, something caramel or a pink one. I can't really choose my favorite. I haven't had
Awesome.
American donuts yet either, so I've been in camp basically the whole time I've been here. Only had a couple of donuts, but I got some pages saved on my Instagram to hit up after my fight too.
So you haven't had an American donut at all yet?
I have had one or
Oh,
two.
gotcha.
Not enough, not enough.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you're gonna be like after the round two TKO or submission, you're definitely gonna get a lot of donuts after that.
Yeah, I hope so.
Awesome. Well, I think that's all the questions I had, Casey. Just thank you so much for the time. And is there anything that you want to say to the fans out there watching?
No, just thanks for listening, and make sure you watch my fight on February 20th.
Awesome. Thanks, Casey.
Thank you.